Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. In today's session, we are going to start with the topic of charge of GST. So, what is the meaning of the charge? Charge means levy or impose. Levy or impose of GST. And as we discussed in the previous class we completed the topics of the first one, basic concepts in relating to the indirect taxes, and the second chapter, supply under GST. Right? The second topic it is supply under GST. Now the third chapter, charge of GST. Charge of GST. Now charge of GST concern, GST will be levied on supply of the good or service. Right. Supply of goods or services. And as we discussed, in case of the intrastate supply, we are liable for payment of CGST and SGST or UTGST. Where a supply is an interstate supply, we are liable for payment of IGST. Is it clear? Now the question it is, how we can determine whether a supply is an intrastate or interstate? How we can identify whether a supply is an intrastate supply or interstate supply? Where supplier location and place of supply, where the supplier location and place of supply both are in same state or union territory, it shall be treated as intrastate supply, right? It shall be treated as intrastate supply. But whereas supplier location and the place of supply, supplier location and the place of supply both are in two different states. Two different states or two different union territories or state to union territory or union territory to state. It shall be treated as interstate supply. Right? So intrastate supply and interstate supply. Now, in case of the intrastate supply, we are liable for payment of CGST and SGST. In case of the interstate supply, we are liable for payment of IGST. Are you clear with this? Right, done. Now, how we can determine whether a supply as an intra or inter, and from where these sentences are derived? Might be these are the sentences which we discussed in the first chapter itself, right? But these are the words given in section 7, 8, 9 of the IGST Act. Section 7, 8, 9 of IGST Act. Section 7 deals with what are the supplies. It shall be treated as interstate supply. And section 8 of the IGST Act deals with what are the supplies, it will be treated as intrastate supply. And next section 9 concern supplies in territorial water. As you know that territorial water concerned up to 12 nautical miles from the baseline. Up to 12 nautical miles from the baseline. Up to 12 nautical miles. These waters are territorial waters. Where a person making supply from the territorial water, or where a person making supplies into the territorial water, what could be the place of supply, right? So that what are the interstate, intrastate and supplies from territorial water, all those things we are going to discuss in this chapter, right? That is the first part. And the second part concerns section 9 of the CGST Act. Section 9 of the CGST Act and the second one, section 5 of the IGST Act. Section 9 of the CGST Act as well as Section 5 of the IGST Act deals with levy of GST. Right? Only these are the two content, these are the two concepts which we are going to discuss in this chapter. Unclear? So that simply we can say in the chapter of charge of GST, the first part concerns section 7, 8, 9 of the IGST Act. This is the first part. Right? We are going to discuss in this chapter, in this session itself. And the next one, section 9 of the CGST Act and section 5 of the IGST Act. Section 5 of the IGST Act. Are you clear with this? Section 8, 9 of the IGST Act deals with whether a supply is an intrastate supply or interstate supply. But whereas section 9 of the CGST Act and section 5 of the IGST Act deals with levy of GST. Right? So before starting with the concept, first of all, let me discuss 2 or 3 definitions. And one more thing, please remember. One more thing you have to remember. In every chapter, we are learning 2 or 3 definitions, right? Or 4 or 5 definitions in each and every chapter. Suppose in the starting itself or in the single chapter itself, we are not going to learn huge amount of the definitions. Each and every chapter, we are going to learn 4 definitions, 5 definitions, 3 definitions like this. So after completion of the GST Act, at least we will discuss nearly 40 to 50 definitions. We will learn 40 to 50 definitions in the classroom itself. Right? Now, let me start with the section content and the definitions. Charge of GST, extent and commencement of the acts. First of all, this is the levy of CGST and SGST as we discussed. Just go through once. Suppose CGST and SGST concern, it will be levied on intrastate supply. Is it? And IGST concern, it will be levied on interstate supply. By referring to this chart, easily you can understand this one. Just pause the video and go through once. Just pause the video and go through once. Are you clear? Is it or? Next one. The definition state. The first definition state, section 2, subsection 103. State include union territory with legislature. Actually, state means, as you know, that Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, right? Maharashtra, Punjab, West Bengal, right? These are the states, no doubt. But apart from that, there are few union territories which having their own legislature. They have an ability to prepare their own acts. That is called having one legislature, right? Like that, for the purpose of the GST Act, Pondicherry, New Delhi, right? Pondicherry, New Delhi, and the next one, Jammu and Kashmir. Actually, these 3 are union territories. Even though these Pondicherry, New Delhi, and Jammu and Kashmir are the union territories, they have their own legislature and prepared their own act. So even though these 3 states will be considered as a union territories, but for the purpose of the GST Act, you have to presume these 3 places as a union territories. These 3 places you have to presume, states, these 3 union territories you have to presume as a state. That means if any supply taken place in these 3 union territories, instead of the UTGST, you are liable for payment of SGST. Instead of UTGST, we are liable for payment of SGST. Right? That's the point number 1. And point number 2, union territories. Union Territory Goods and Service Tax Act 2017. UTGST Act extends to all the union territories of Andaman Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman Diu, etc. And now the definition of the union territory given here. Right, the definition of the union territory. UTGST Act extends to union territories, right? Okay. So, union territories means Andaman Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman Diu, Ladakh. Next, Union Territory means the territory of these places. Andaman Nicobar Islands, Andaman Nicobar Islands, number 1, number 2, Lakshadweep, Dadra, Nagar Haveli, Ladakh, Chandigarh, other territory. Is it clear? And before to that, one more thing you have to know. Actually, in India, we have 28 states, right? Next, 7 union territories. What are those 7 union territories? Number 1, Dadra and Nagar Haveli. Second one, Daman Diu. Number 3, Pondicherry. Next, Andaman Nicobar Islands. Next, New Delhi. And Daman Diu, Pondicherry, Andaman Nicobar Islands, New Delhi. And the next one, Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh. Right? Dadra, Nagar Haveli, Daman Diu, Pondicherry, Andaman Nicobar Islands, New Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir, and Ladakh. Right? Now, in 28 states, we have a 28 SGST acts. How many? 28 SGST acts.